Hi, this is Joseph with Sci-Fi Graveyard, hosted by the Heart of Geek. Before we get started with tonight's episode, I know things are still crazy right now. I know a lot of people are still suffering with anxiety and depression. I am one of those people. And I just want you to know that there are people who care about you. There are people that love you, whether it be a suicide prevention hotline or your best friend or your family member. Please reach out to someone and talk to them. Know these three things. You are not crazy. You are not alone, and secrets do make you sicker. So please reach out and talk to someone. Again, please, we do care about you, and we want to make sure that everyone's safe and happy and healthy moving forward. Thank you. Hi, this is Joseph, the host and creator of Sci-Fi Graveyard, as hosted by the Heart of Geek. Is there a topic that you love to talk about? Would you love to share that topic with millions of listeners around the globe? If so, then you're almost there to starting your own podcast. The only thing you need is Anchor.fm. With Anchor.fm, you can record, edit, and publish your own podcast to the Anchor site and to popular podcasting sites around the world. So what are you waiting for? If you'd like to get started, all you need to do is head to the Play Store on Android or the App Store if you have an iPhone. Start the download and get recording today. Thank you for listening to Sci-Fi Graveyard, and on to the podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sci-Fi Graveyard. Today is going to be more of a little impromptu conversation. We're just going to I just want to get everyone's thoughts on toxic fandom. I know we talked about it the last time. Sorry there hasn't been a podcast for the few that do listen. There's been a lot with scheduling with everybody, and on top of that, my mom passed away in August. So I just want to say we already did an episode on her favorite movie when she was in the hospital back in November, and she was playing. I won't say the word playing, but she was really close to death then too. She actually had stopped breathing and had to be resuscitated, and it was the same week that my mother-in-law died. So it was a really rough time, and this was right the week of Thanksgiving. So they brought her back. She got better. She improved, but unfortunately, she lost her fight in August due to being ill. A lot of stuff. My mom was a W amputee with her legs and had a wound that wouldn't heal. A lot of it, to be honest, was some of her doing, not taking care of herself, and some of it was just happenstance. But she was my mom. I love her. So I just wanted to say a few things before we get started. I think one of the reasons I like movies so much is because, and I remember as kids, we grew up in a small town called Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And in that town, we used to live not in a, it was more of a middle class neighborhood, I guess. It wasn't like we weren't really wealthy. I mean, if it wasn't for my grandma that she recently passed as well in January, or my grandpa who's still alive, my mom's parents, they helped us out and stuff because my mom did struggle. And but we lived in a house, and we lived near a couple grocery stores, an A&P, and a Howard's. I don't know if anyone here knows what a Howard's is, or any listeners remember Howard's. Howard's was kind of like a Walmart back before they were super centers, and maybe a Kmart, similar to a Kmart. But we used to walk there, and we also then they opened a shopping center behind that A&P grocery store and Howard's, where there's another grocery store called a Food World, and a Domino's Pizza, and a video store. And so in the summer, on the weekends and stuff, I don't have exact dates, but we did do this a lot. We would walk across the street. There was some apartments across the street from us, then another small street, and then there was the shopping center where the Food World and stuff was. And so we would all walk across the street, walk next to the apartments, which is funny because now my uncle now owns those apartments and rents them out. And we'd go to the video store. So all the times we would go rent movies, and it was the 80s. So a lot of what we rented was slasher, which is why I'm super, super critical of horror nowadays and why I think a lot of it sucks. There's been some that I thought was okay, but I think a lot of it's kind of lame. And that's just me. I'm really picky about stuff like that. Pardon me. It's been a long day. So we'd run a lot of teen slasher flicks. That's how I watched stuff like Sleepaway Camp, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Return of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Um, that's how I watched a lot of those films. Sleepaway Camp 3. Even like the movie House 2 and stuff like that. It's a lot of
I don't think I've ever watched House 1. I've seen House 2, but
which is funny because we had that movie, Josh, growing up.
I mean, if I watched it, I mean, like, I don't remember.
You'd probably remember it if you watched it. I guarantee you we watched it at home.
You would remember House because House starred William Catt from Greatest American Hero, and he moves into a house that I think it was his grandmother owned, and she killed herself, and it's the house where his son disappeared. And it's not a scary movie. It's kind of like it's I don't want to say horror comedy, but it's like camp horror. It's not like you're watching Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. House 2 is a lot.
I like it.
House 2 is a lot campier. And that's also when we talked about the movie Maximum Overdrive. I used to joke and say that was my mom's favorite movie, and she hated that movie. But that was another movie we watched. It's also how we saw the Rocky Horror Picture Show, because my sister was like, "We want to rent this," because it was like bright red lips, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Knew nothing else about the movie. Little did we know when we did the time warp, as kids, what we were getting into. But my mom was like, "Okay, I'll rent it," and she kind of rented it to kind of like, "I'll show you why I didn't want you to watch this movie," because it wasn't really appropriate for children like our age.
Yeah. That's kind of how like A Clockwork Orange, when I first it was because at first I thought it was going to be something totally different than what it was. I think Jeremy rented it or somebody rented it, and then I was like, I wonder what this is. And then I was like, what the hell am I watching?
Are you talking about?
He's talking about A Clockwork Orange.
It was ages ago.
It was probably me, because I brought a lot of stuff into the house that nobody.
My mom didn't really censor what we watched. I mean, we weren't watching like, Skinamax late at night, Prison Babes 3 or whatever. That's just a made up title. But but we did watch a lot of horror, which we probably shouldn't have watched. When I talk about something being inappropriate for children, we probably shouldn't have watched the horror films that we watched, but we did. I remember, and those were really good memories. We watched a lot of, I watched some kids movies growing up too, but it was mostly teen slasher flicks. But if I'm being honest, but that's, I think, where I get my love of movies from. And as I've gotten older, I've appreciated cinema now. Now I've never been like one of those upper stiff, like stuffy cinema people that are like, I only like independent films. I mean, I look at movies as what they are. Like, if the movie's saying a message, I can look at that movie and get the message. But if I'm watching like a Michael Bay film, I'm not going to shit on Michael Bay. And this kind of will lead into our discussion. I mean, this is an impromptu discussion, more or less. I didn't do deep research on this. This is just our personal opinions on stuff. Toxic fandom, and we'll get into that in a minute. But this is more or less about my mom and loving movies. But I was never really like a big, I'm not like this, oh, the movie's id, or the subcontext of this film. If I'm watching a Michael Bay film, I know what I'm watching a Michael Bay film for. And so when people like shit on Michael Bay, I mean, you can think movies are good or bad. And I'll even say it's okay to give your friends shit when they like a movie you don't like. I mean, that's just what friends do. We give each other shit. But it's kind of like where I guess we watched a lot of movies. That's where I kind of loved it. I mean, we watched non-horror stuff too. I remember watching, stuff like Risky Business, like Trading Places and stuff like that.
I remember Risky Business.
Yeah, so we watched stuff like that. There was There is also a movie with Bette Midler and Lily Tomlin where they played twins, and I can't remember the name of the movie, but I remember watching that.
I remember that movie too, but I don't remember what the name of it was.
We watched stuff like that. We watched, Beaches and stuff, but we did watch a lot of teen slasher flicks, and I emphasize that because we did watch a lot of horror. We rented a lot of games too. Honestly, I had the movie was called Big Business.
Big Business.
Yeah, Big Business, and so we watched a lot of we watched stuff like that, like when pay-per-view was starting to become a thing in the early 90s. We started watching stuff like that. A lot of, like I said, a lot of horror. Mostly the horror we rented from the video store. We rented a lot of video games for the Atari because I had a 7800, and so we would rent 800 games and 2600 games. I didn't have a Nintendo yet. I didn't get a Nintendo until like 90, 91, but I had an Atari, so that's what we played growing up. We also had a ColecoVision, so we rented a lot of stuff like that, and it's probably where I get my love of thrifting, because I do have some memories where my mom would take us thrifting, and I would look for old video games for the Atari, and we'd get them really super cheap and stuff like that. But there's just some things I wanted to say about my mom. This is probably where I get my love of movies, because we watched a lot of movies with her growing up. It could have just been an 80s thing too. Like, I think a lot of us 80 kids grew up watching a lot of movies. And we watched family films too. So we watched The Boy Who Could Fly, Flight of the Navigator and stuff like that.
Watched like everything.
And like I said, my mom never told us, "Oh, you can't watch that; it's rated R." I mean, as long as it wasn't like gratuitous sex, softcore porn type stuff. She didn't. I mean, we didn't watch that growing up, but we watched like a lot of.
I think that's a possibility on why our stuff is different from a lot of other people's thing. And this goes into the toxic fandom thing too. It's like knowing that they didn't restrict us too much when it comes to movies and video games and stuff like that.
I never got restricted on games either.
I think that's the problem with a lot of it, is that the fandoms, let's say just the Star Wars one alone right now, or Star Trek.
Star Trek, I think, has actually gotten worse.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Than Star Wars
hasn't been more toxic fandom rather than Star Wars and Star Trek, it seems like.
Well, we've had the discussions on this. I think it's on this pod. We've had the discussions on this podcast around that.
Yeah, we did, because
I had mentioned me from my perspective when I watched Star Wars and Star Trek. I look at it as, was it a good movie? Same thing with the Marvel stuff. But there's people out there that fucking critique shit down to the nth degree, and it becomes kind of annoying. And then when you give your opinion and they snap back at you, what the hell are you doing that for? I mean, does it really fucking matter in the grand scheme of things?
No, it's both sides too. It's not just and there's a Star Trek group I'm in called Star Trek Shitposting. And there's a lot of funny memes and stuff on there, but sometimes they take shit too far. And
I think it just depends on the people. Yeah,
they take things too far, and it's and there's memes they post that I don't care for, but I don't start an argument with it, because I'm one of those people. Okay, I don't like it, I'll just move on. It's their opinion. I'm not gonna when we did Star Wars The Last Jedi, or whichever one we did, and Josh was like, I like these movies, and Rise of Skywalker, and you're like, I like these movies, and I was like, I think they're shit, and I did give Josh a little bit of shit in that podcast, but the thing is, Josh and I are friends in real life, and this is just
and that's why I came up with what I was saying, because I mean, again, from my perspective, it's like my favorite Star Trek movies are the new ones.
And I think that's okay. I think you can like both.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. But I mean, from my perspective, when I watch them,
especially probably Beyond is probably the best out of the three.
I think Beyond is the best out of the three.
But I'm also, from my perspective, though, I don't know Trekkie. Everything about. Yeah, Same thing with Star Wars. I don't know everything about all of it. Now,
yeah,
if you
it's like
get me,
my thing was doing the Next Generation, and then some of Voyager, and what was it? What's the other one? Not Deep Space Nine, but there was another one after that one.
The original Enterprise.
No, it was. They all came out around the same.
Yeah, it was well, after, not including the original series, but there was Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Voyager, and Star Trek Enterprise. Those were
okay. So
yeah,
maybe I'm thinking of the one before that or something. Maybe,
and then
or maybe I'm thinking of the movies. I don't remember for sure.
Because then,
well,
yeah,
it also makes me think, like, these builds that I'm doing, right?
mm-hmm.
When I go through these episodes, I have no fucking clue what these parts are. But you, right from the Enterprise perspective, I show you and you know what the fucking thing is. I don't know what it is. Like,
yeah,
so that's that fandom stuff that I just don't. I like stuff. I'm just not like crazy into it where I'm gonna get pissed off about something.
No,
you know what I mean? I mean, and that's where this toxic fandom stuff is kind of nuts. Because wrestling's like that too. I mean,
wrestling's really getting like that. It seems like it started getting noticed with the prequels in Star Wars, and then like Star Trek, it started to seem to creep in with the Kelvin universe, which is the new movies, 2009,
and
then it's just getting worse with Discovery.
Well, my opinion is it's the internet that's caused it, because now people have the ability to say shit without being seen.
Yeah,
so, I think the internet.
There's no recompense.
Yeah, they're not.
Or like you put up a YouTube video about your opinion on something, and it really doesn't matter from that perspective what people think, because I mean, you can say whatever the hell you want, and that's kind of what I see.
I think.
Well, that's what happens. Like when people have discussions, they're way more. They have more of an ability to say shit in a message that they type versus in front of your face.
In your face. Yeah. And also, there's a lot of things like Josh says. I think is a good key on it. I think, and this is going to sound blunt, but I think a lot of people have gotten comfortable with saying shit without getting popped in the mouth for it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean physically punched. Sure. That doesn't mean physically punched. That just means, with, like he said, recompense.
You need people to be like, shut the fuck up.
Well,
dude,
it's like that with everything, though. I mean,
it's like that.
We worry about, I mean, I've got 2 kids in school, right? And, if somebody gets in trouble or they don't get a good grade or something like that, the thought is now today, parents will go to the school and bitch to the teacher.
When it's not really their fault, yeah.
Well, no, because the kid's not doing their fucking work. I mean, it's like, sometimes you got to put the onus on the kid to do their fucking work right. And if you're not doing that, it's not the teacher's fucking fault. And
no, do you think?
I guess Joe's moving stuff around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta keep busy with my hands even when I'm talking. It's just the anxiety right now. Like,
you probably just need a fidget spinner, man.
But since my mom died and with my injury and everything, it's just gotten worse. So I have to keep moving around. I get antsy sitting still. It also didn't help when I had a desk job. So
I feel you. Sorry to interrupt you, Jeremy.
No, you're good, Jeremy. Go ahead and continue.
No, it's all right. I mean, I'm just from it goes across the gamut. It's not only really toxic fandom, but I think it's the environment everybody's in now. And again, being behind a computer, they're called keyboard warriors for a reason, because they are easy to do shit behind a keyboard. I'm not that way. I have my opinion, and it'll be the same opinion I write down and what I will say to your face. I mean,
yeah.
So
like that's how I am. I'm always like, I'll write the exact same shit that I'll write in a tweet or whatever. I'll say it to your face, because I feel like you should be honest with it. Like, even if you don't like, what the heck was that?
I turned on something.
And for some reason, what was I going to say now? People really have the thought that they can just do whatever the hell. I mean, it's just, I mean, we have family members that are like that. And it's like, just keep your mouth shut. Just, if you don't like something, just scroll past it.
Yeah.
You don't
and
have to make
that's kind of
you don't have to make a comment. Like, just fucking let them say what they want and go on with your day. I mean,
that's kind of my mentality with especially fandoms, because I was, like I said about the Star Trek ship posting group. Someone posted they're actually making a new Star Trek series. Well, they've made several. They've made Discovery, which has had a lot of it's really, I don't want to say it divided the fandom, but there's a lot of fans that like it. There's a lot of fans that don't like it. It's like one or the other.
Picard is pretty bad.
I'll be honest with you. I thought Discovery was okay. I think Discovery's okay. But if I say to some people in the fandom, I don't like Michael Burnham, then I'm automatically a racist because she's African American. They don't take into context that maybe I just don't care for the character.
Is that the name of the lead character or something?
Yeah, that's the name of the main character on Discovery.
Well, I like her in Orange is the New Black. I mean, even though they wrote her off at one point, but still.
Like when I say I don't care for Michael Burnham's character, that has nothing to do with Sequoia Martin Green. She could be a very wonderful person. I don't have a problem with her as a person, but people sometimes take this stuff like it's personal attacks. I cannot like a character, and someone told me I need to check my white privilege once, and I'm like, because I'm commenting on a character. I think they were trolling me, honestly, but I even had other people coming to my defense in the group, in this group post. I don't think it was actually the shit posting group. It was another group. And I literally said, Sisko is my favorite captain out of all the Star Trek captains. And he is. Avery Brooks, but Deep Space Nine, he's my favorite character. He's my favorite captain because I think he was kind of like, he's kind of like a little bit of Captain Kirk, but he could also be, he's kind of like the best of Picard and Kirk as far as but he's not like a carbon copy of them. He's his own character. He's got his own flavor. He's just a guy from New Orleans who's proud of his heritage and his culture. He's a very good. Well, the thing about Sisko is he's a really well written character, and that's what I like about him. And I like how he's 3-dimensional, and a lot of characters on Deep Space Nine were very 3-dimensional, which the 3-dimensional characters on TNG didn't happen until starting with the 3rd season. Voyager, some of the characters kind of fell flat, and when people are like, you can't say Michael Burnham's a Mary Sue. Well, when Michael Burnham's character, and this is my personal opinion, the quote Brian Zane, like what you like, don't be a dick. But when you attack me for having an opinion on a character, like, oh, you can't have an opinion. Well, I can tell you that like a show or don't like a show, like a character or not like a character.
Yeah, it's not it really. It's like some people.
Well, I don't know why it becomes I don't know why it becomes a race thing every time,
and then it becomes a race issue.
It seems like they just want to bitch just to bitch sometimes too. Because I've had conversations where I'll just say one thing, I'll say I don't like certain things or whatever, and then I'll get 20 comments back about what I did wrong, or I didn't mention this character, or whatever the fuck it is. And it's if I say something just that someone don't like, they just feel like it's a personal attack on them.
They make it a personal attack, and it's not an attack.
You watch certain shows, Walking Dead is a good example for me, right?
I heard
Walking Dead. I watched Walking Dead up until the 9th season, and I stopped watching it once I heard about. I should say, spoiler alert for people. Is that
what is
your
this?
3D printer or something?
Oh no, that was my Cricket next to me going off.
Oh. But what's it called? most of it is just like I stopped watching it after I found out certain people weren't on the show anymore. And it's like an integral character. I'm trying to just leave out.
I honestly think at this point you can say the character, because if it's the character I'm thinking of, they died like years ago.
Well, no, it's because spoiler alert for anybody that actually still watches the show. I mean, it's been a couple of years anyway, but like the comic book is tailored all around Rick, Carl, and certain other people. And then I found out, like, I was gonna watch it, like, because I stopped having cable around the time. I was gonna watch it when they uploaded it to Netflix, and I found out that Rick wasn't on the show anymore, and that they were gonna make movies with him instead. And I was like, then there's no point for me to watch the show anymore, because he was my favorite character out of the whole damn show. And then he was just like, I'm done with the show. They should have just ended the show when it was where it was, because they already had Fear the Walking Dead, and then they were making, I think it was like the Walking Dead World thing. There's like
they're making there's going to be like a third show. Well, The Walking Dead is supposed to be ending soon.
Well, it's on its final season now, but if it was me, I would have ended it at the 9th season. I would have been like, oh, we're just going to end it now, because there's no point to have, like, I get, like, Daryl, I love Daryl and stuff like that, but like, people would probably, if they heard me talking about this on Twitter, would probably crucify me on my opinion. But like, Rick was the main point of the show. If you get rid of the main person, same way you got rid of Carl too, it was like they got rid of and Maggie at one point. I think Maggie left just because the person that was playing her wanted to do a different show that was probably paying her more money.
I think they stiffed her. They weren't paying her as much as the male actors.
I think that's
on the
why
show.
Scott Gimple was out of the show at one point, was because they switched showrunners like real quick after that, and he was the showrunner for a good few years. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, if I would say that shit on Twitter or something, like, and probably people would like freak out and be like, "Oh my god, you should still watch the show. You're an asshole for not." Or like if I said anything about Supernatural, holy shit! Like,
I wasn't.
15 seasons of that damn show. If I would say anything
You mean the show
about that show?
The show that was supposed to end after the 5th season, but then it ran for like ever. Like, it literally was only designed to run for 5 years.
Yeah,
but it was but the ratings.
That's what I'm saying is like that. Like, you can't do that with like, people will act like you're but it's just a TV show, man. I like I've had conversations with my friend Rusty where like he's talked about in Last Jedi when Leia gets sucked out of a ship, he stopped watching, right? He was like, oh, that's bullshit. If everybody else died, she shouldn't have died too. And I understand that. I understand why he stopped watching the movie. But to me, I never just like shut off a movie. Remember, we watched that movie Alive? I could have stopped watching at any point in time because it was garbage. But I still try to like see through the movie, right? That way I could be like, oh, it was so awful. I barely ever get up. Like, I've never walked out of a movie. I've never done that. I never will. And people just up and walk out of stuff before too. But like, that's why I say, like, people would freak out. And it's just like, I've had conversations with him and he kind of gets tired of me like talking about it, where I'm just like, I don't even know. Like, I found out he's never played a Castlevania game the other day. Like, what? Never played a cat. Like, he's just like, I just never got around to playing it. I was like, and it was just so weird to me. But then I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. You should play one then. I was like, you should play Symphony of the Night. That's how it should be, right? You should
the one on PlayStation.
Like, I mean, either one. I mean, like, I think they were saying that they were going to release Castlevania Requiem, which was Symphony of the Night, and Rondo of Blood, which I don't think I've ever played that one. But they were supposed to release that one as like a free PlayStation game, but I think it was just a rumor, or like the website was wrong or something like that, because they didn't do that. But like, I was just recommending, that's my all-time favorite Castlevania game. But like, that's as far as I go when it comes to this stuff. Like, we'll have conversations, but I won't like get to the point where I'm trying to change his mind on something. You know, like,
well,
like,
yeah.
you should at least try it. Like, I recommend to try it, but like, I know him. He's not going to do anything that he doesn't want to do, and that's how most people are. If you don't want to watch a movie, you're not going to want to watch a movie. Like, it doesn't matter who tells you that it's great, because I mean, it's subjective. Everything's subjective. Like, one person that likes this movie might not, somebody else might not like it. Like, one time I heard that somebody didn't like the movie Fight Club. They thought that they didn't understand it. I'm like, how do you not understand that movie? I mean, it's confusing, but like, you can understand it somewhat. I mean, to me, I understand where their reasoning was for what happened in the movie, but I mean, I've watched a bunch of different movies, but I would never just call the other person an idiot or something, though. Just be like, what the hell? I'm just like, okay, maybe you should watch it more than once, because I've watched a few movies by myself like a couple of times to make sure what I was watching was like what I was supposed to take out of it.
It's, you know, like, and I talk about giving your friend shit, but giving your friend shit is a little bit different than hating on someone for not liking something. Like, I feel like, you know, we give each other shit because we're just busting each other's balls, or, you know, it's not serious. I'm not seriously hating on you because you like The Last Jedi and I didn't, or The Rise of Skywalker and I didn't like it. I'll be honest with you, the new trilogy of Star Wars movies, I actually liked The Force Awakens. Although I did think it was basically Star Wars, you know, A New Hope Part 2 story wise, but I didn't hate the movie. You know, I liked it. I thought my favorite character was Finn. I didn't hate Rey. People were calling Rey right off the bat, you know, a Mary Sue and blah blah blah, and I'm like, you know, there's reasons why she did what she did in the first movie. But do I think by the end of the series that I think they kind of made Rey into a Mary Sue? Yeah, I can see
you
where.
Talk about Mary Sue. Do they have like a men's version of that?
I don't know if they. I'm sure they do, but I don't know what they call it.
That's the main thing. If like that's also one of the things that I didn't even know was a thing, is calling somebody a Mary Sue about, like, because I've watched a million different types of movies, especially superhero movies and stuff like that, where of course you explain, like, it's like, ever since Luke losing his hand or something, having a downer ending or something, like all this other stuff, it seems like if you don't have them lose in some sort of way, right? Like with Rey, like, it was just showing that she was very force sensitive and she was able to pick things up right away. But then they kind of wrote themselves into a corner with some storylines and made her seem like more OP than she was. I mean, they do that in all sort of books and shows and stuff like that all the time. They make people way too overpowered compared to other people, and then it's like, everybody calls them a name for it. It's like,
well,
or they can't just be like, oh well, I wish that they weren't like as super strong, but I mean, the only other way is like having the other people in the group take over or something.
That's kind of like my problem with Michael Burnham, because, like, yeah, she made a mistake in the first episode to kick off the series, but every time, like, there was like an issue, she would solve it in like 5 minutes. And there was an issue where the character Tilly was like, I keep seeing like this apparition or spirit of my dead friend. And she's like, yeah, but she was crying in the tears. And she's like, oh, she cried, she's tears, blah, blah, blah. She knew exactly what it was just by standing there. And of course, she was right. And then when she questions the captain, she's always right. And it's like, to me, that kind of makes someone a little bit of a Mary Sue. And that's kind of why I don't like Michael Burnham. But if I say in a group I don't like Michael Burnham, then I'm an ist, a racist, and a phobe, and I need to check my privilege.
Yeah, and
it's not even about that.
Thing.
I'm not making it a race issue. To me, it's a To me, it's not even a character. Like, to me, it's a writing issue. It's the writers who are writing the character this way, and it's like, I have nothing. Like I said, I have no ill will towards Sequoia Martin Green. I'm not one of these fans that's gonna like, you suck or something. I saw a message she did on Instagram for Christmas one year. I was like, oh, that was very nice of her. That was a cool message. Her and her family thought it was a nice picture. But like, I have nothing against her. I don't hate her. But people think you must because you don't like a character. Like,
that's goes for like people just like what's it called? Kind of like where they just automatically assume they're talking.
They just assume.
Yeah,
and
that's the problem with a lot of things. They just assume what you mean. Some of the people don't even read everything that you say too. They just read that it's like negative on the show or they whatever,
or they
and
don't.
Then they just shit on it the whole time. And
or they don't.
I've had that happen to me so many times.
Or they don't ask for context. Because there was in the same the shitposting group, they're making a new Star Trek series called Strange New Worlds about Christopher Pike and the Enterprise and young Spock. So I'm super excited because it's the Enterprise. And I like Anson Mount from season 2 of Discovery. He was probably my favorite. Him and Non were my favorite characters from season 2, and they were going to make it shows about the Enterprise. So I'm super excited. I think it makes me laugh that Rebecca Romijn is the first officer of the Enterprise in that show, and her husband Jerry O'Connell's the voice of the first officer from Star Trek Lower Decks.
So is it going to be kind of like a prequel thing? Knowing that is she still doing? Hold on, never mind. No, Rebecca Romijn isn't the person that was 7 of 9.
No, that's.
Why was I thinking that it was the same person?
No, that's someone completely else. That's Jerry Ryan.
I was sitting there and I was like, oh, never mind. What am I talking about?
But the thing is my favorite series out of all 3 of the new Star Trek shows that are currently on air. I actually like Lower Decks the best because I think it's the most bright out of the shows. I do think Discovery and Picard were really too dark, and I didn't like the ending to Picard. But if you say you don't like Picard, then automatically you're, blah, blah, blah. But in the group, to get back to the point I was trying to make, they were talking about the new show. Someone posted how they can't wait for Strange New Worlds because they can get back to what Trek was about. And that's kind of that's the gist of what they posted. I don't remember it word for word. I didn't screenshot it. I didn't comment on it. Because I was like, okay, when I read it, I took it as they're looking at the fact that I took it as they were looking at the fact that instead of being serialized, which is what Picard and Discovery were, it's going to be episodic, so week to week. It's going to be more like, and that's how I took it as traditional Trek, episodic. Ensemble cast. That's how I read it, and I just went about my day. I didn't feel the need to comment, but people started attacking this poster, saying what because of the white man patriarchy. Like, why don't you ask him what he meant? You don't know what that. You don't know. Maybe he did mean the white male patriarchy. Probably not. But maybe he did. Why don't you just ask instead of assuming? Just ask if you just ask because, but people like that, they don't see themselves as part of the problem in the fandom. They think it's the other side, and it's like no, it's there's problems on both sides of fandom. Like I cannot like Jodie Whittaker's doctor, but then people assume it's because she's a woman. Well, maybe I didn't like the writing of her doctor. Maybe I felt like if she had a better showrunner and a better set of stories, then maybe I would have liked her as a doctor.
Yeah,
I gave her a
so
shot.
far to me, I like I haven't watched most of the episodes even off of season 11. I'm like still behind, but I'm like the first 3 episodes of her arc. And
Yeah,
so
and
far I kind of like the companions better. Like, I
my
mean, I
my
like
favorite.
her at least in the first episode, but like I'm waiting to see the other stuff, and I like the companions better, even though that there's a lot of companions. But I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I
just
like.
my
My
feeling on it.
favorite
But
was.
I mean,
I
I
like
want to
Graham.
still like, still David Tennant to me is my favorite. So I
My
can't.
my my favorite
It's like,
doctor is actually the Eighth Doctor, Paul McGann. He was in the TV movie that aired, I believe, on Fox. He was also. They also did some audio dramas from, I think it's like Big Finish or whoever does them in England, where he actually reprised the role as the Eighth Doctor and went on adventures with a companion. And that hit those stories really made endeared me as the Doctor to me. So I love Paul McGann. I love Matt Smith because I they say the first doctor you're introduced to becomes your doctor. So Matt Smith was my first doctor. I like the third doctor and I like the eighth doctor.
yeah.
I
See,
like
like I kind of understand that, but like I'll watch Christopher Eccleston first.
see I
Like,
didn't like Eccleston as the
I
doctor.
think the main thing is that the Eccleston for my thing was that when they were doing redoing again, like a lot of it, you could tell that they had less money going into the show, kind of like how the older show was, because they did a lot of weird, goofy stuff in it. I mean, like this, it was kind of weird with one of the episodes where it was kind of like a horror episode where like all the children with the gas mask things going on.
Are you my mummy? Isn't
Yeah,
that what
that
they
one. Yeah. It's like that was like kind of creepy, but like most of my favorite episodes either
I have
have
no
with
idea what you guys are. I mean,
yeah, it's
Oh,
just
we're talking about Doctor
it's
Who.
Doctor Who,
well, I know
yeah.
you're
Doctor
talking
Who.
about Doctor
But
Who,
like
but I have no input.
but what's it called? Most of my favorite episodes happen with David Tennant as the Doctor, and then same with Matt Smith as his Doctor, because like the Silence episodes were great. I loved how they finished the Amelia Pond arc, right? I like
Yeah, I
a
love
lot of the episodes that they did with all the like some of my favorite companions are both those series, like both of them doctors. So that's why I
my
still say that those are two of my favorites out
my
of like
favorite
all of them.
companion is
Even though that
Donna.
even though that Piper is my favorite anyway. Like I know that Donna is yours, but like Piper is
Yeah,
still mine. Mostly because
Donna
she was the
Noble.
first companion that I was around, like when I watched the show. So like I understand that part.
Yeah,
Because like she was in the show for a long time. A
people give
lot
me shit
longer than
because
huh?
yeah, she was in the. People would give me shit because I didn't really care for Rose, because the first episode I really saw with Rose was the episode where David Tennant comes in, the Christmas episode with the evil Christmas trees and stuff, and
Yeah.
he just regenerated, and she's like, "Oh, my doc." She kept saying throughout the whole episode, "My doctors failed me, and my doctors failed me." I'm like he just, And then when I watched the episode of how the ninth became the 10th Doctor, I'm like, you realize he just like absorbed the heart of the TARDIS or whatever it was to save your ass. Cut the dude some slack, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, I mean,
And
like the whole arc that she had from season 9 to I think it was like season I don't know, 11 or 12 or something, because she was on there for a good like 3 or 4 years. Uh, like, I thought that it was a complete arc. I liked how they did everything. I mean, it kind of sucked with the ending, but like they could still introduce her, like, freaking if they did like another reunion episode or something, they could just bring her character back if they wanted to for
I
like a
like how
reunion show. And that's the main thing
I like
about
how
it for me.
they used her in the was it the Day of the Doctor or the Time of the Doctor, the 50th anniversary, where
That's what I'm
she
saying.
was where talking to the War Doctor, which
Yeah,
I think
like
Paul
that.
McGann, I think the Eighth Doctor should have been the War Doctor.
Yeah, well, that's what. But like, also at the same time, I get like why they did all their choices. Like, that's my most main thing when it comes to toxic stuff is that, and it doesn't just get with fandom too. I think it's with everything. I think certain people should be able to be relaxed in their opinion, to not freak out if somebody doesn't like something. Like I
Well, that's the
understand if you're like Sonic the Hedgehog, how everybody went after them for changing the look of Sonic. It's like that I understand. Sure, you don't need to do like a million signatures or a huge ass petition for it, but like I understand why people were like, please change it back to where it was, or like certain things. Certain things I understand. Like if I said something about Game of Thrones, the last season of it, or like even if it was like Red Wedding Time or something, people would freak the fuck out too. So I mean, like that, and that's why I'm saying, like, enjoy what you watch. It's fine for what you watch. If you watch like The Real Housewives, then whatever, you watch that show. Be 100% confident that you love this show. But if somebody doesn't like the show or isn't into it, just leave it be. Don't
yeah.
be trying to like run somebody over just because they don't like your show.
It's like if you don't like something, it doesn't necessarily mean like are there people that don't like Michael Burnham's character because she's a woman and she's a person of color? Yeah, that's unfortunately that's life. It sucks. I don't agree with it. But there's also and I'm using her as an example because that's a lot of focus for Discovery's hate is Michael Burnham and the show in general for Star Trek fans. And like I watch Discovery. Do I think it's the best Trek out there? No. Do I hate it? No. I think it's okay. I think it's a little too dark. I
Well,
just
wouldn't you want to end up having something better though that was kind of closer to the, like that's why I said like when we were talking about the prequel or the new Star Trek movies and why I thought that Beyond is the best one is that it's the best at being the new and the old Trek in the same movie.
yeah, it's the one that felt the most like Star Trek, at least to
Yeah.
me, out of the three.
And like
And
to me, Picard and Discovery don't seem, and this is me not even watching a single episode of either. I just watched it off the trailers, and like I was intrigued with playing this, watching Discovery, but then some people just turned me off of it, especially Picard. I was so intrigued with what they were going to do with the show because I love Picard anyway. But like once I heard like the stuff that the ideas that they were doing in the show, I was like, man, so disappointed. Like that's the main thing for me is that's I'm like the disappointment is real. Like I wish that there was some stuff that would happen that I wouldn't feel disappointed in watching. Like Game of Thrones, that whole last season was very disappointing because I think I hyped myself up so damn much off of like being intrigued with what they did because that's the one thing that they always did right. It seemed like on Game of Thrones was knowing that they were constantly outdoing themselves. Sure that a lot of it was written in a book already, but like you could definitely tell once they got off the book that they just didn't know what they were doing. Like pretty much.
yeah,
Especially
and
they wanted to do a shorter season, and I think they should have done a longer season, in my opinion, because they had like 2 years or some shit, and then they came back with that final season, and then it was just they did uh like 8 episodes, and it just felt so damn rushed, so rushed, and I was like, you had 2 years, and it still felt rushed. But that's just my opinion. Some other people would probably still hate on it, but that's just my opinion on it.
but I think you're entitled to your opinion now. Like I said, when we were talking about, you know, some when we were talking about stuff earlier, I when we talked about the Star Wars, yeah, I gave you shit, but I'm busting your balls as your friend. I'm not seriously hating on you for liking Star Wars or disliking, you know, Discovery or Picard. I watched Picard and I watched I watched Picard, I watched Discovery, I watched Lower Decks. Lower Decks was the one I went in with the least amount of enthusiasm for, but ended up loving it. And Picard, I had probably the most enthusiasm for, and I didn't really care about it as much because I didn't like how it ended. I felt like there was more that could have been done, I guess would be the best way to say it. Like I felt like there was more that they could do, and I just didn't like how I didn't like how some of it came across. And that's just my personal opinion. But a lot of people, if you say stuff like that, you're like, oh, you're this, you're that. And then there's the other side. And I really think that just like what you like, if you don't like someone's post about a show, you don't have to comment on it and start an argument. Just mind your business. Like there's difference between having an adult conversation about something that you both have differences on. You can, and a lot of times the toxic fandom on both sides make a lot of stuff political, and it's like it has nothing to do with it's a show. It doesn't have to be political. Does sometimes shows tell allegory tales? Yes, that's what sci-fi is perfect for, is an allegory tale, which gives a message within the show's fictional narrative. That's fine. Sorry, air bubble. And I just don't think if someone doesn't like something, they're allowed not to like it. If they love something, they're allowed to love it. You don't have to shit on them for liking it, and you don't have to shit on them for hating it. And like I said, Discovery to me, okay, Picard I like less than Discovery. Lower Decks I thought I was going to hate, but I absolutely love because I love the energy and the humor, and I love how the show, whereas Picard and Discovery is dark. And this Picard doesn't take place that much long after the events of Lower Decks. Because Picard's closer to the 25th century, and Lower Decks is closer to the end of Star Trek Nemesis. So there's like maybe a decade and a half there, but I don't think, it's like I like the brighter feel of Lower Decks. I kind of like the humor. I like how Jerry O'Connell's the voice of the first officer and his wife is the first officer of the Enterprise in Strange New Worlds. That makes me laugh every time I think about it. And I'm excited for Strange New Worlds because I want to see the Enterprise on my TV every week. I want to see Anson Mount's Christopher Pike and see how it grows as a character. I actually didn't care, or I didn't care. I actually didn't mind Ethan Peck as young Spock. I thought he was pretty good in the role. A lot of people hated on him. I'm like, he was fine. I like. We didn't get to see her much in the original pilot for Star Trek in 1964, or in the two-parter Menagerie, which was cut-ups of the original unaired pilot. But she, to me, came across as a strong woman, and so I'm excited to see her. And I like the fact that her name is Una, and so they call her number one. Her name is actually number one. Her name is number one. I love that because in Discovery they're like, "What's your name?" They're like, "Number one." They're like, "What is your name?" She's like, "That's my name." Her name is actually number one. So I like Una, which means one. I like it. I like it a lot. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to see episodic television where it's like a new adventure each week, where we don't have to, like, if we miss an episode, we're like, fuck, we're screwed. Granted, it's a streaming service.
One thing I like about Disney. I mean, it sucks at the same time because then you're intrigued, but it's like kind of like with me watching Titans right now. Like, so
yeah, I need to watch the third season of Titans.
Some of the HBO Max stuff, like they do in weekly things, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I could just stream it. But then you do realize when you're thinking about it that like doing it every a week, is it really hurting you? It gives you another chance to watch what's updated and then like watch something else. So it kind of makes sense why they would do that way. Like probably get more people to watch the platform and then watch other things and stay hooked on it. Essentially.
Yeah, but and that's probably why.
But I mean, also at the same time, like I just wish people would just like. I'm trying to think of the words where they talk about like where you don't really necessarily have like just because you can speak doesn't mean that you necessarily have to. Like,
Yeah.
I think that goes with Twitter and everything else, especially on any issues. Like because I've dealt with it a lot, and what else can I say other than it? Usually, it's just that people don't realize that it doesn't really hurt you if somebody else that you don't know, like that you totally don't know, doesn't like something. I I feel sad for somebody that hasn't watched a certain thing. Like I'm like, damn, you're missing out. It's like not watching Wizard of Oz or something like that. That's what I think about whenever it's like stuff where you didn't watch this certain thing. Like I had Rusty over to watch Watchmen because he never watched it before. And I was like, dude, you need to watch it. Even if you don't care about even if you don't like it, you should at least enjoy it in a certain way. It's like watching the movie 300. It's like if he never watched that movie, I would be like, what are you doing? Especially if he likes action movies. I'd be like, what are you doing? That has some of the best action film. But I'm not going to sit there and be like, you're an idiot for not listening and like not watching that movie. You got to be one of the dumbest people. You know, I'm not going to be like that. Like what you like, man. That's pretty much it.
Like what you like. Don't just assume because someone doesn't like something or likes something, it's because of X, Y, and Z. I mean, talk to them, reach out and talk to them and find out why they really like it or why they don't like it. Ask them. People don't ask questions, they just jump to conclusions. And I think that's a lot of problem.
Really spoken that much on here.
No, he hasn't.
I talked.
Well, you guys were talking about Doctor Who. I didn't have any input that.
Yeah.
I kind of made my comments early on, so that I mean they're not really differing from what you guys are talking about, but you know,
no,
again, I stated I'm not a crazy fan of really anything. I mean, so there's not like I'm a fan of a lot of stuff, but it's not where I'm gonna
not to the extent of like being crazy about it.
Yeah,
like getting tattoos and shit.
So like,
you know, if I don't have a crazy amount of anything, so it's like I have a plethora of a lot of stuff, but I don't have I mean, when it comes to sports stuff, but I know a lot about basketball, but I'm not gonna like get on somebody because they don't.
Yeah, if someone there's nothing.
So that's all I have really to say in this episode, honestly. I mean,
and this was just us kind of shooting the breeze. This wasn't like a well thought out. I just wanted everyone's opinion.
Yeah, we're almost at an hour already.
Yeah, and this was just what people thought. Like, I think people, if you like something, like something. If you don't like it, don't like it. Just don't shit on the other person.
And definitely do not attack other people for not liking your shit. Okay?
Yeah, just because someone doesn't like Jodie Whittaker.
Don't ever go out of your way to insult somebody or whatever just because they don't like something that you like.
Yeah,
there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit that I'm sure that you guys would be like, why the fuck do you watch that shit? Like, I watch a lot of weird movies and stuff. I watch the stuff that usually normal people would hate.
Oh,
when people watch Troll 2, I would probably if I ever watched that movie, I would have probably showed someone Troll 2 at one point, showing how awful it is. Because that's the extent of mine. But that's what I'm saying.
But movies can be bad, and you can still enjoy them. Yeah. You can, and so bad it's good. But don't ever the only movie I ever really kind of shit on was Nightfall, and I don't like that movie,
dude. Or the Yui Bowl movies,
or the Yui Bowl movies.
No matter what, it's those are the ones that are just awful, just to be awful. But I mean,
but even Yui Bowl movies, you can still kind of find some enjoyment in how terrible they are. And there's people who probably really love. There's probably people who really love Nightfall, and I don't want to try to take that
Ugh.
away from them or make them feel stupid because they like something, and
Yeah,
don't make
just our
me feel
opinions
stupid because
are,
I don't.
folks.
Yeah, my opinion's my opinion. Like my opinion is my opinion, and you're allowed to have your opinion. When it, when we're talking about entertainment, art is subjective, and they say beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and that's true for our favorite shows. Because let's think about it. What we what we like in our shows, that's a form of art. And again, and we may like it, we may not, and you're allowed to not like something.
Especially the main thing for me too is that I have controversial opinions that a lot of people would end up hating probably. Like if I ever said them to a certain extent. It's like one of the main ones is that I shit on Boba Fett whenever I can. I mean, in Mandalorian, he was fucking awesome in Mandalorian though. Like I gotta
I
admit,
laugh
they
because
made him like an actual fucking bounty hunter. But
I laugh because Boba Fett's not one of my favorite characters in Star Wars either.
It's
So.
mostly because, and this comes back to like, I feel that you should be able to have a discussion with somebody about why you disagree or agree with a decision. The reason why I say Boba Fett sucked as a bounty hunter is because in all three movies he didn't do shit, and the only reason why he got fucking Han Solo was because of fucking Lando. That's the only reason why he got him. It wasn't because he was a good bounty hunter. Lando just was like, "Hey, come over here," and then they put him in carbonite. That alone would piss people off, right? But I've had it where I've had conversations where people are like, "But his suit's cool." I'm like, I'm not debating how cool his suit is. I'm talking about if your job is to be a bounty hunter and you can't fucking get him yourself, then you're a shit bounty hunter. It's like Dog the Bounty Hunter. If has a show called Dog the Bounty Hunter and he doesn't catch anybody, like that's what I'm saying. Every episode is him spending 4 episodes trying to find somebody, you're a shit bounty hunter. I'm just saying. Like, that's the main thing. That's why I say controversial takes would piss people off too. But that's where we have conversations and you try to change my mind, right? You try to have me open up my mind. You don't need to attack somebody just because they aren't in the same boat, right? So that's all I'm saying with it. It's just everybody's going to have something that's going to trigger somebody else. It's fine. Right? Like, it's just gonna is it gonna bother you where you're gonna sit on that for years, where you're gonna fester on it? There's no point, man. There's no point in wasting energy into something where it's just a movie. Just enjoy it for being a movie, and listen to the fan fiction and go into the lore and stuff if that's what you enjoy doing.
And I think, I laugh about you talking about Boba Fett because I never really got the popularity of Boba Fett either, because he got taken out by a blinded Han Solo. and it was Lando and Darth Vader that kind of handed him over. I mean, Lando went back to like he kind of regretted what he did, but
well, I mean, it goes to the Greedo shot first thing and a bunch of stuff that they changed or whatever over the years. That's why I say, like, they got some of the worst people when it comes to Star Wars and Star Trek, no matter what it is. And it's because they've done that, like, over the years, where even back before the internet, people were shitting on the differences on this movie, or like the original series, like the first 3 movies. They talked about that shit. So that's why I'm saying, like, everybody just, it's fine if somebody doesn't like anything. It's not hurting me. I still get the same joy out of watching a movie like that you hate, or like whatever,
like,
I still get the same enjoyment.
Loving the new Star Trek movies like Jeremy does, the the J.J. Abrams films, the Kelvin universe, doesn't take away from me. I actually like the J.J. Abrams films, but that doesn't take away from me loving the original Star Trek films. You know, the motion picture through Nemesis. That doesn't take away from that. You can still love Deep Space Nine, Enterprise, all those shows, or like whichever ones you like and don't like. I think out of the Next Generation shows, I think Voyager's the weakest. I have nothing against the actors or anything like that. I just didn't feel like the writers cared as much as the writers say on Deep Space Nine or TNG.
Because, I mean,
that's
like,
my personal opinion.
I didn't watch the whole thing. It's like I started getting into the first season, but I forgot how I got away from it. But anyway, what's the next one that we're going to be doing? Like,
we're going to be doing
about a movie, right?
Yeah, you suggested it. We're going to do Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. And so, and that's because this one we are going to do Rise from the Grave, Let It Die, or Rest in Peace, because this is based upon a book or a series of books. I haven't done the research yet.
It's a series of books,
I think it's a series of books. And this is kind of the story that inspired Star Wars and stuff like that. So this has like a rich history. So we'll try to do it justice in the next one. Again, sorry for being so long on getting one of these out. With everything, you know, I miss my mom. I do thank my mom for all those years we watched movies growing up, and I think that's kind of where I got the love and stuff for movies. And toxic fandom, if you don't hate on people just because they like something or not like something, I mean, you're not helping anybody, you're not making it better, you're to the fire. Now some people do it just to be trolls, like I said, quote Brian Zane, like what you. There's no reason to treat someone like shit or make them feel stupid because they enjoy something or they don't like something. And you don't have to be bitter because I may not like the Kelvin universe and Jeremy does. There's no reason to be bitter over that. In my defense, I actually do like the Kelvin movies. Or a better example would be, honestly, don't be bitter, Joe, because
if you really gave a shit, I wouldn't care because I don't care.
No, and that's
no. I'm just saying.
Some people,
I'm a different beast, so people can say whatever the fuck they want. But
people do. Like, I may bust Josh's balls.
I'm just saying from my perspective, I don't let that shit get to me. I mean, I got more shit to deal with than what somebody cares about what I like and don't like.
See, sometimes I get too triggered with emotional shit where people
I tell you that all the time, Josh.
Like,
I mean,
I get triggered off of like everyday shit where it's like stuff when I'm going to work and dealing with customers or something where somebody like triggers me that way. Most of the time, whenever it's like an opinion on a movie or something like that, I usually don't give a shit. Mostly because it's just like I feel bad that they didn't watch it or whatever. But like other than that, I just I'll still like the next day I won't even care. Or like by the time I make it at home, I will forget about it. You know, like I won't even. Some people sit there and stew on that shit for way too.
Yeah, people stew on stuff that doesn't. At the end of the day, me liking a show and you not liking that same show really doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, it's not going to change the world. Now, you know what will change the world? Not being a dick to someone who may or may not like a show.
Or trying to change shit that you don't.
Yeah,
is
I mean, I don't like everything they do on certain shows and certain things, but I don't always, if someone asks me an opinion, I'll tell you the truth, but I'm not going to hate. Like, you like the new trilogy, some of the movies, Josh? I don't like them. Am I going to give you shit for it? Maybe as a joke because we're friends. I gave my friend shit for liking the show Friends as a joke. It was obviously we were joking around with each other. But I'm seriously not going to be like, oh, what's fucking wrong with you? You like the show Friends? God, I can't be friends with you. You're such a waste. But people are like that in real life, and it's like, what's wrong? To me, I'm like, what's wrong with you guys if you're really like that? There's more to life than hating on stewing over a show at the end of the day, whether or not you like the writing or the characters. You're allowed your opinion. If people say Janeway's the best captain, I don't agree with that opinion, but it doesn't mean I hate female captains or I hate Kate Mulgrew. It just means I didn't care for the character. Um, and I didn't think she was written very well. But I'm not going to tell that person that and make them feel stupid or start an argument because they like. I may make jokes about the character Neelix, but it doesn't mean I hate Ethan Phillips. It just means Neelix was, in my opinion, a poorly written character. And I know I keep beating a dead horse. I just want people to understand it's okay not to like something. It's okay to love something. Just not always get triggered by someone else's opinion. Sometimes it's better to bite your tongue. Um, and if there's an opportunity to have an actual mature discussion, it's okay to have that discussion, but just keep in mind it's just a show and you should really just relax. Take some advice from the theme song in Mystery Science Theater 3000. If just be to yourself, it's just a show and you really should just relax. Again, this is Sci-Fi Graveyard. I just want to thank you all for joining me. I do want to say rest in peace to my mom. Thank you again for taking us to the video stores. My mom's name was Paula. And I just want to thank everyone. We'll be back hopefully to a regular schedule with Valerian, and we'll talk about that. I heard it's a dumpster fire, but I'm going to go in with an open mind, and I'll give you my honest opinion. So, any final words from anybody?
I didn't think it was, but I'll give more opinions on that in the next.
You're fine. Like I said, I'm just telling you what people have told me, but I actually do want to sit it and watch it and take in and see what I think for myself. We didn't even touch on Captain Marvel, like I did last time when we were talking about the setup for this one. It's kind of like, I went with Captain Marvel with an open mind, and I thought it was an okay movie. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. And
I definitely think they should have switched places.
Because I was saying the Marvel universe is kind of running into the same shit as Star Trek and Star Wars now.
Like I definitely think that Black Widow should have been in the place of Captain Marvel.
My honest opinion on that
is I really enjoyed Black Widow, but that's just a better film. But I mean, like
we can talk about that later.
Yeah, no,
we can do.
I'm not going to cut into like more shit, but
we're sitting at an hour and 10 minutes right now.
Yeah, so we're gonna call it here because we didn't even touch the whole Brie Larson stuff, and I think that was a big powder keg when that came out. And remember, relax. It's just a show. It's just a movie. Relax, breathe, eat some popcorn, drink your drink, and it's okay to turn your mind off for a few hours to watch a movie for fun, and that's okay. But we'll see y'all next time with Valerian, where we'll give our honest opinions. And remember, whatever we talk about, and if you do listen, feel free to watch anything we discuss yourself. I'll never tell you not to watch something, maybe except Nightfall. But even then, you should give it a go just for your own sake to get your own opinion. Just remember, critics, everyone is just offering opinion. Their opinion may not match yours. So everyone have a good night. And we'll see you all talk to you all next time. Good night, everybody.
Peace.
Night.
We'd like to thank you for listening to this week's episode of Sci-Fi Graveyard. If you like what you hear, please check out some of our other podcasts as hosted by The Heart of Geek. That is Morbid Instinct, Wrestling with the Willies, and Screen Creeps. You can follow us on social media. We are at The Heart of Geek on Twitter, The Heart of Geek on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And when we do stream, it's not very often. We are just Heart of Geek. Again, thank you for listening, and we hope to catch you next time.